Hello, and welcome to the 7th episode of the 10th Divine Podcast. This is a show about Elder Scrolls Online, and I am your host, Shanty, and I am here with my amazing co-host, Raven. How are you doing this week?
It's very warm. Very warm. It's been over 30 degrees in London for the last 3 or 4 days, and it will be again tomorrow. But it's supposed to break on Monday, so that'll be better. So yeah, it's just to us. I nobody can see this because we're on audio only. But behind me on my table, my cat has just turned into a pool of liquid, and I think she sums up kind of how we're all feeling about the weather at the moment.
Well, at least you didn't do 60,000 steps over 3 days in that.
No. The 60,000 steps over 3 days was at least in only 24, 25, 26 degrees, so that was okay. I have spent most of the week recovering from the horse show. I am now recovered from the horse show, and normal weather should resume on Monday, so then things will be much better. How are you doing?
Well, I just worked a 6-day work week, and
Nice.
it's never easy doing the extra day when you're on night shifts.
No.
But aside from that, I'm good. Looking forward to going back to 5 days next week, though.
Yeah. Have you sorted is this sort of holiday cover for people being away in August, or have you got new people starting, or is there an end in sight to this crunch?
Yeah, there is. We actually have some new people onboarding in the next couple weeks, and specifically coming to my shift, so that'll be nice.
Hey.
We are. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, this is in my color. Sorry, we're very excited for today's guest. TES Benefactor. Benefactor, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful being on the show.
Yeah, it's great for you to join us.
So, what have you gotten up to in game since we last recorded?
Well, I have actually spent one night playing a video game, and it was The Elder Scrolls Online, so I feel like this is quite good. Whereas I'm going to rock up to my WoW podcast tomorrow and be like, yeah, I've played New World of Warcraft for 4 weeks. So Thursday night we did manage to get some dungeons in, so we did a couple more. We're sort of working our way through the vet dungeons. We did Blessed Crucible and Wayrest Sewers 2. So in terms of, we're about halfway through the difficulty list now. I picked a random random vet dungeons off the dungeon list, and it stuck us in Red Petal Bastion. So that's quite a difficult dungeon, and we were very thinly smeared across the floor very effectively by the first boss. We tried it a few times, and then we were like, yeah, I think we're too little for this still. So we went back a bit, and Wayrest Sewers 2 was our triumph for the evening. But I thought that was quite good. We haven't been there for a while, so it was really good just to get back into doing some content of playing some video games of any description, and doing some dungeons and stuff. So that was really, really good. Also, shout out to Graphis, who is our healer. He heard me on last, it'll be 2 weeks ago show when everybody listens to this, but last week's show, complaining about having to do DPS, and he's agreed to swap, so I get to try healing next week. Whoa! So now I've got to go at some point, probably tomorrow, I've got to go and work out how you heal in Elder Scrolls Online. So I think Legends Rise had a show about that recently, so I'll go and check that. What about you? How's your gaming recently?
Well, on PCEU and PlayStation, I've mostly just been logging in, collecting rewards, and doing my daily writs. I've turned my attention to PCNA for the time being, working on a project that I'm going to get into toward the outro. So right now I'm in the midst of researching healing builds, tanking builds, and both sets of DPS builds for all 6 classes.
Oh, wow.
Because of the project I'm going to speak to later.
Oh, okay.
But today is actually also the 6-month anniversary of the last time I paid for ESO Plus, so that's currently going through the bank again. How about you,
Exciting.
Benefactor? What have you been up to recently?
I haven't had too much time to spend in ESO, so I've been logging in every day to make sure I get my reward, daily reward, and make sure that I get my writs done. I'm a big writs guy that does it every single day, making sure I don't miss a day.
That's very good.
It's easy gold.
Yeah.
Exactly. Other than that, I've been mainly doing a little bit of side research in the Elder Scrolls lore, looking into some old forum posts from the early 2000s. But those will be on the library soon.
Cool.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the interview. What was your introduction to the Elder Scrolls in general and ESO in particular?
So I first got introduced to the Elder Scrolls with Arena and Daggerfall. My uncle would play it all the time, and I would love to watch him play it whenever I was younger. So that's my introduction. Uh, with ESO itself, I was there from the moment that it was announced and following it from announcement to launch to where we're at now, following it every step of the way, making sure that I absorb pretty much all the content as it came out. I've always been trying to be in the community and provide different services based upon what I thought was needed at the time.
Are you a single character type play, or do you have a bunch of alts? What do you usually play?
I only play one character actually. I've played one character since launch. It's a continuation of the same character that I played during beta. I'm a play a Nightblade that I just don't feel the need to create another character yet. I do have plans to create a second character to be able to go through the story one more time to experience everything again and refresh my memory because I have some projects that are going to involve that soon.
Cool. Or a person after my own heart. I also only ever play one character. Otherwise, it gets confusing. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and as I've alluded to, I am definitely not a single player character. So, what was your start in content creation?
I started with content creation, with researching old parts of Elder Scrolls, but with ESO itself, I was one of the founding members of Entropy Rising and Tamriel Foundry back during launch. I wrote a lot of articles for the site back then, and then once the site we stopped producing content, I moved over to the Imperial Library, where I became a librarian and keeping making sure that the library is up to date with all the latest information from ESO.
So what exactly is the Imperial Library?
The Imperial Library is exactly what it sounds like. It's a library of information from all of the Elder Scrolls. We have every single book that's ever been released in game. We have articles that have been posted on the website, forum posts that are related to lore by developers, developer comments, anything relating to the lore, we catalog and upload to the site to have a one source that you can go to for any of your lore needs.
Oh, that must be that must be a lot of content now.
It is a ton of content. We don't focus on looking through the lore and presenting it in a article format. We instead go with main sources of lore. So if you want an original source of lore, you would come to us and look for the original source instead of, which makes us different from UESP, which is does present articles where they break down the lore and connect things. We instead just focus on sources.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I may have had my information incorrect for this question, but what was the thing that drove you to create it or to join their cause?
So I joined the Imperial Library. It was around 2012 as an assistant librarian. And I've always enjoyed the lore of the Elder Scrolls, and I've wanted to contribute and continue to cataloging of lore and keeping the site alive. It's an old site that's been around since 1998, and we've always been very lore focused.
Wow. Well, who created the site in the first place?
So the site began as Xanathar's library. Back in 1998, when Redguard first came out, nearly 25 years ago next year. Um, there was he created a site to be able to catalog all the books from Daggerfall and to cover the lore that was presented in the first Pocket Guide to the Empire that came out, where a lot of our lore originates from nowadays. And with that, over time, it merged into the Imperial Library, and it also merged in a lot of content from another site called the Essential Site, which was an older site from that was Daggerfall era as well that presented a lot of fan content. Some of those fan content was related to developer posts on forums, which are still cataloged on the Imperial Library today.
Cool. Um, how hard is it to maintain the site? Is it much more difficult since the launch of ESO, do you think? Is there more content being produced all the time?
It is incredibly difficult at times to keep up because we work with a very small team at the Imperial Library. There's two librarians, me and Lady Navar, and we're the main ones that upload to the site. We have assistant librarians that help on our Discord with moderating, and also finding content for the site. But the hard part about keeping up to date is that ESO is a live service game and it's constantly evolving. We have to add new content every couple of weeks. If there's ever a patch, we have to go back and compare what we have on the site to the new patch to see if there's any changes in the content so that we can update our site to have the most up-to-date information.
Wow, that sounds like a really big job.
Yeah, especially with all the lore books that they add in the new chapters and everything. It's staggering that you're doing it with such a small crew.
It's actually not as bad as you would think. I usually set aside like a 6 hour period of time after PTS launches to be able to go through all the new books and make sure that they're all set up to upload to the library within about a week or two after PTS launches.
Okay. That's some speedy work.
Indeed. So we're going to take a small break to mention that this show is part of Bonus Roll Productions. You can find our show and lots of other great MMO-focused podcasts, such as Girls Gone WoW, A Podcast Reborn, and Technically PvP over at bonusroll.gg. So on the homepage, as you mentioned, it says since 1998, meaning you're approaching a pretty significant milestone. Are there any big plans for the site's 25th anniversary?
There are some plans in motion. There's nothing that I can confirm at this moment, as nothing has been finalized on our end. But do look forward to next year, and we do have some things planned.
You're hoping that maybe some Elder Scrolls 6 announcements might turn up during your 25th anniversary?
I wish. I do have a lot of communication with the community managers, but even that doesn't give me any insider information. I am no more informed than anyone else.
Totally fair. They keep their cards very close to their chest. If somebody is visiting the Imperial Library for the first time, where would you sort of recommend they start? How should they use your website?
So if you're visiting our library for the first time, you're probably going to have something in mind that you want to look for. We have a robust search section that you can search for any keywords that are that you're looking for. Like if you want to look for Aliad content, when you visit our site, you can search for the word Aliad, and it will bring up all of our books and articles that have Aliad within it. There's a breakdown on the left-hand side of the screen that will show different kind of content. Like if you want to just look through our library of books, it's broken down by histories, fiction, or letters. We also have a translation library that translates everything from Draconic to Gel, even Tagra, which is the Khajiit language, is on there as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and also some fantastic timelines if you're looking to look at the history. Um, um, I did some research on the site. So, what is your personal favorite lore book?
That is a tough one, but if I had to pick one, it would have to be something from Morrowind, actually. Ted Peterson created a lot of books for Morrowind with great stories that had twist endings to them, and I really enjoyed that type of content. So if I had to pick, it'd probably be the let me see what it's called. One moment. So if I had to pick one book out of all of the books from Morrowind or any of the Elder Scrolls games, I'm going to go with A Dance in Fire. It's a book from Morrowind that featured a character named Scotty who visited Valenwood. And a lot of our Valenwood lore that we experience within ESO comes from this book. He visits Valenwood and gets into all kinds of trouble. Every time he turns around, he's engaged in another adventure that ends terribly. And then he finds himself back in the Imperial City after it all ends, and it has a really good twist ending that I don't want to spoil for anyone.
Okay, sorry, what was that called? A Dance in Fire?
It's called A Dance in Fire.
Cool. We shall look that up. Is there a particular part of the lore of the game that, or a particular game's lore, like Skyrim lore or Morrowind or whatever, as you say, that is your favorite overall?
I would say anything that doesn't have a exact answer to it. To where if it has a mystery behind it, it really captivates me because then I have to start looking for puzzle pieces and putting the puzzle together. And that is what I love about the lore is that there's no absolutes in the lore. Everything is speculative to where you have biased authors that you're reading. So everything should be taken with a grain of salt and piecing together different books from each other and putting together a story based upon them is what I really love.
Cool. So, a few fun questions now. If you could transplant any race or species from Nern onto Earth, what would you choose?
Um, Gores, definitely gores. Gores have been a fascination in the Elder Scrolls community for a long time because they're adorable. Everyone loves gores.
Well, almost everyone.
Yeah,
Almost everyone.
Okay, so would you rather have a Gwar or a Horker as a pet?
Of course, it would be a Gwar. Who would pick a Horker over a Gwar? Your Gwars, they've been in the series, they're a staple of the series since Morrowind. They're loved by the community, and there's just a fascination with Gors that you can't find with any other creature in Elder Scrolls.
Fair.
fantastic. Um, any other final questions from you, Shanty?
I can't think of anything.
Cool. Then, thank you very much for taking the time to come and speak to us today. Why don't you let our lovely listeners know where they can find you?
You can find me on the Imperial Library. You can message me if you create an account. Other places you can find me is on Twitter, where I go by TES Benefactor. If you contact me, I'll be sure to reach out. I love to discuss the lore. Other places that you can reach me would be we have a Discord channel for the Imperial Library. I'm also found in many other Discords, such as the UESP or Lore Seekers. There's a lot of different places that you can find me.
Cool. So thank you for tuning into the show. If you've enjoyed it, please let other people know and give a review wherever you are listening to us. Rating and reviewing the show will help other people find it. You can also give us a review over at our home at Bonus Roll Podcast Directory. Go to bonusroll.gg/directory to find it. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can find us on Twitter at 10th Divine Pod, or you can email us at 10thDivinePodcast@gmail.com.
If you want to find us in other places, you can find me, Raven, over at Girls Gone WoW. If you're a World of Warcraft fan, or if tabletop RPGs are your thing, check out As the Dice Roll, where I'm part of the crew of the Cautious Optimism. You can also find me on Twitter at Silky Raven, or at the GGW Discord at girlsgonewow.net/Discord. There's a channel for ESO chatter and lots of other lovely gaming chatter.
So you can find me, Shanty, on Twitter or Twitch, streaming a variety of MMOs at Shantyman Gaming. And as I alluded to earlier, the project I'm working towards is I'm going to be doing a dungeon marathon on September 10th, starting at 6 p.m. Central, midnight or daft o'clock, as you would prefer in London. But I'm going to have special guests, and one of the incentives that I'm going to be doing is at certain milestones, I'm going to be letting chat choose a build for me to switch to. Whether it's certain milestones will be swapping classes, or other milestones will be swapping roles, like, okay, switch to tank. And this is all for Extra Life. So this is going to be an extended affair.
Yeah.
But you can also find me on the Girls Gone WoW Discord, joining in on the ESO chatter and gaming chat, or a whole other variety of gaming Discords, including tons of ESO Discords at this point. Feel free to say hello if you happen to see me online. We will be back in a fortnight with another lovely chat about ESO. Bye!
Bye!